2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Broadcasting from Now Media Network's headquarters in Houston, this is Be Productive, hosted by business strategist and productivity expert Clara Capano. Join us to discuss the most critical issues affecting our businesses with a fresh, practical, and objective discussion on the first bilingual media network in the United States. Be Productive starts right now.
Welcome back to Be Productive. For any of us in leadership and in business ownership, we're not going to achieve our goals without taking risk. Risk is part of the game, but let's be smart and let's make sure we're taking those calculated risks. So I am going to be talking about some risk management solutions with my friend, Greg Schaefer. So Greg, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
You know, you always bring so much value. And when I talk with you, I'm always just blown away because you really have so much experience, especially in the area of cybersecurity. And when we're talking about risk, you know, we're opening ourselves up to risk in this area each and every day. So talk to us, you know, what are some of the most effective strategies, you know, in managing, you know, all these security risks that are out there?
So you have to start by understanding what the risks are. This is my favorite topic because information security at its core is risk management. So you have to identify the risks. And I know that sounds kind of, well, that makes sense. It's kind of obvious. But the problem, though, is that you start identifying risks, but then you prioritize risks. And if you prioritize them all the same, everything prioritized means nothing's prioritized. So you have to understand, in order to find your risk, you have to understand where your information is. You have to understand where your assets are. This is why we talk about asset management. And then you need to start thinking about what the threats are to the information. And one simple example of this is what we're doing to reduce threat would be your office has some computers in it, and the computers have information on there, critical and confidential information of your customers. And you need to protect that, obviously, but you know that you've done your things that you need to do. You have antivirus or endpoint protection, what we call it now, on your machines. You have a firewall. You have all these things in place. You're making sure that they're all up to date. That's great. So you've reduced the risk somewhat. Now, what we're doing there is what we call controls. And then hopefully those controls are enough to reduce the risk to an appropriate level. We'll talk about that in a second. But what if it isn't? Well, there's a few things you can do. There's generally 4 risk treatment strategies. The first one is mitigate, and that is, well, let's lower the chance of it actually happening. And what that usually means is you have some controls in place, well, add some more. So maybe it's like, okay, you have the firewall in place. Maybe you want to add in some extra protection with regards to antivirus on your machine if you didn't have it on there. Transfer is another one. Sometimes there are some risks that you can't really manage yourself, or it doesn't make as much sense to do so. And one of the most popular ones, prevalent ones in information security, is cybersecurity insurance. In other words, you have the cyber liability insurance. If something happens, then at the very least, anything that you need to lay out as far as expenditures go to get back to where you need to be, well, that could be paid out. It's really no different in concept than accident insurance for a car. Now, you don't want insurance to be a replacement for doing the right things, just like you don't look at having driver's insurance as an excuse to drive recklessly. That's not the point. It's there just in case. And then number three is you accept it. It's like sometimes we accept risk. Accepting risk is a valid business thing to do. I mean, business runs on risk. You have to take risks. And sometimes if you don't accept the risk, then you lose opportunity that could come from that. That's risk opportunity. And then you don't grow the business the way you can. And then finally, you can avoid it. You can avoid risk by completely, if in the case with the information on computers, if you don't need the information anymore, get rid of the information. You're trying to protect something with no return on investment.
Yeah. Wow. So much to think about. And one of the things that you brought up early in the conversation is, a company might have more than one risk. So how does a company prioritize and know where to even start?
We use what we call a risk register, and it's really kind of a fancy name for a spreadsheet. And within the spreadsheet, we lists the risks that we have identified and we continue to identify over time. I always recommend it's not a static once a year thing you do. If you come across a risk, put it on the register and then figure out the magnitude of that risk. And typically, the way we do that in industry is we look at what we call the likelihood of something happening and then the impact if that thing did happen. And a very simple scoring system would be that from 1 to 3, a low risk would be, or a low likelihood would be 1, and a low impact would be 1. A high impact or high likelihood would be 3. You multiply those numbers together, you come out with a number between 1 and 9. So you do that for each one of your risks, and that then gives you at least a numerical value of where your risks are. And then you can start prioritizing by that numerical value. Now, I want to emphasize, though, this is not quantitative risk analysis here. They are numbers, but they're not measuring anything. They're just a representation, a tool, if you will, of the subject matter's expert on evaluating the risk and to give really the C-suite and the board of directors, executive management, an idea of where to prioritize those risks.
Love it. That's fantastic. Now, I want to talk about technology a little bit because, as with everything, there's the blessing and the curse. We are having a lot of these problems because of technology, and technology is also going to help us to fight some of these problems so we can, again, take the good kinds of risks that were out there. So as an expert in this field, talk to us a little bit about what you feel the role of technology plays in risk management.
Well, one of the roles is to help to understand and identify risks. And a prevalent one is vulnerability management, vulnerability testing. And what that means is whether it be looking at your network from the internet side or looking at your internal network, it just involves one computer going out and probing other computers to see if there are any holes that it can exploit. We call them vulnerabilities that they can exploit. And what that does is that it helps to form a check on another control. So we talked about making sure your computers are up to date as far as patches go. Well, if for some reason that doesn't happen, a vulnerability scan can then find out whether or not that the patches have been actually kept up to date. So you might actually find out that your process for keeping controls in place may not be effective. And then another way that technology can help out is in tracking these risks. We talked about the simple spreadsheet for the risk register, but many businesses, including several small businesses we work with, they use a system called a governance, risk, and compliance system, or GRC is what we refer to it as. And what this does is, because there's always this interrelation between different areas of risk management, you have your controls, you have your risks, you have your regulations that you have to be compliant with. And if you have these all tracking in different spreadsheets, it's hard to understand how one relates to the other. A GRC system helps to bring those relationships together to basically give you more tools, more information on how to manage your risk. But in the end, it's important to understand the subjective nature of risk management. It's more of an art, really, than a skill. You're always going to need that human intervention. I mean, technology will help, but it won't replace that.
Absolutely. And, we're going to have all of your company information in the notes, but I would love to just ask you, how did you, find yourself in this field? Because you've been doing this for a very long time and are clearly an expert. So tell us a little bit about how you got attracted and how you fell into this field.
I fell into it by accident, really. I started in IT because I was a student assistant in mechanical engineering at the University of Buffalo, and then my specialty in IT was networking.
Mhm.
And networking is where a lot of cybersecurity first started from. The firewalls. First firewall we put in was in 2000. So at some point in time, I realized in my career that I was spending more time getting people not to talk to each other than to talk to each other. And that's when I realized that I had flipped to information security. And that was probably about 20 years ago.
Yeah. And like you said, nothing is ever going to replace the human element. We've got to be able to talk with each other in order to even get all this technology to work. And I know on your website, you have a link where they can just set up a free call with you and your team to sort of, again, get kind of a little assessment. Is that the best way to get the process started?
Sure, just go to www.vcsoservices.com. You don't even need really the www. But we get into the habit of saying that over like the decades. There should be a button on the top page, the front page that says book an appointment or schedule some time, and just click on that. And if you have a question with regards to virtual CISO services, or if you just have a cybersecurity question, I'm happy to answer.
Awesome. Love it. Well, great. Thank you so much for being here again and sharing your expertise with us. And for all of you out there, really look at the technology you're using, making sure risk is part of the game. We want you to embrace risk and also make sure that you are doing it in a smart and productive way. So get yourself connected with an expert like Greg and make sure that you are taking those calculated risks so that you can grow and scale the right way. Stay tuned because we'll be right back for more Be Productive.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Are you ready to shake up the world of health with me? Welcome to Disruptive Health, where we are flipping the script on traditional wellness. I'm Dr. Denise Brown, and on this show, we are diving deep into the latest trends and breakthroughs in health and wellness. Whether you're curious about nutrition, exploring new therapies, or just want to live your best life, Disruptive Health is your guide. Don't miss Disruptive Health, coming soon to Now Media TV.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I am really excited about this next segment, and this is something I'm very passionate about. And this is customer and client retention. As business owners and leaders, one of the best things that we need to understand is that so much of our business comes from our current customer base. And when we can really tap in and build these strong relationships and focus on delivering value, that customer retention is going to really help us scale our business to allow it to soar and thrive. So to help me to talk about this and talk about strategies in which we can improve our customer service and therefore our customer retention, I have my friend Rob Tritt joining us. So Rob, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Clara. It's great to be here with you.
So your company, Profit Partners, really helps small business owners learn to really dive in and create better, strategies and systems around this. So what are some of the strategies that businesses can use to really improve their level of customer retention?
It's interesting. So oftentimes businesses, they don't really think too much. The interest is on getting the customer, and then they do their thing and then they leave. The problem is that we want to make sure that we're keeping our customers for as long as possible. The lifetime value of a customer can't be underestimated. So the goal should be, from a revenue profit perspective, to extend that lifetime value out as long as possible. And the best way to do that is to make sure the customer's happy, make sure that the quality of the product or the service is what the customer's expecting. If they're not getting a quality product or service, they're not going to come back, obviously. And depending on the study most studies, it's 6 to 8 times more expensive to find a new customer than it is an old customer. So, which means that you're spending money unnecessarily to acquire new customers when you have all of the customers that you need to power your business.
Exactly.
So the customer service is a revenue driver indirectly. So we want to make sure that all of our customers are happy with good quality service, attentive quality service, that sort of thing.
Yeah, one of the things that I speak on when I'm in my trainings and, at conferences is the importance of understanding it's not just about taking care of our customers and clients during the transaction, but also what are we doing between the transactions? Because you're right, we have to start understanding the lifetime value. And so many times the best source of tomorrow's business is today's business. And really, again, building these relationships and bringing that value in. So you talked a lot about this idea of customer service. Can you expand a little bit for us on the importance of customer service? Maybe even what are some examples that you've seen from others that you've worked with on how to deliver high levels and how we even know if we're delivering high levels of customer service?
Well, so one of the most, the one thing we just touched on kind of was nurturing the customer throughout the buying process, but then also keeping that relationship going in between buying, So if someone, if they purchase something and necessarily need to come back for a little while, stay in touch with them. Say hi occasionally, send an email. Just they don't forget about you, so they can come back at some point. That's things like Walmart, for instance. They'll exchange, or return a product. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Just take it back, and they'll deal with it. So that's quality service. Just knowing that the warm and fuzzy that someone gets from knowing that improved by having a good quality service who actually cares about the customer. That's so important, and it's gonna pay dividends on the investment in customer service.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I encourage people to focus on is not necessarily the phrase customer service, but customer experience. People remember how you make them feel. And there's a really great TED talk done by a restaurateur. His name is Bob Stuckey. And he talks about the difference between customer service and hospitality. And I think that's a little bit about what you're talking about here is, can we bring an experience to everything that we're doing? Because that's what people hold on to. That's what they remember. That's the story they want to share with others. So again, making sure, and those are things like Nordstrom's, Walmart, Costco, who have those programs of bring back anything, whether you bought it 20 years ago or didn't even buy it here. It's because, again, they're creating that safety, that experience, that value behind everything. I want to ask you about these loyalty programs, because a lot of companies are starting with these loyalty programs. Do they really impact growth, and do they really add to the overall feeling of customer service in a good way?
Oh, absolutely. Loyalty programs are great for increased revenue and increase in customer loyalty. People love rewards. They'll work like crazy to get rewards. Think about the number. You probably have a credit card somewhere that you use specifically to get more flyer miles, hotel rooms, discounts on meals, whatever. You don't have to use that card. You just use it just because you want more rewards. So then there are things like Kroger, for instance. They have a reward program where somebody gets fuel points, discounts on fuel. So those kinds of things are very impactful for customers because they want the rewards. They'll continue to come back just to have one more meal, so we'll get that free meal, so have it on gas. So yes, very important.
I love it. And I love when I can double dip and get like double points, when I can use my Southwest card to get my Starbucks, points, and I can get points from both of them. Then you feel like you really won. So I think, all companies, even consultants can find ways to do this. Sometimes, it's even if, if you purchase, this class, you can get this class at a discount, or if you sign up for this membership, you can get discounts over here for these other services. So I think, again, people like to be a part of something. It goes back to that basic need of human connection. And those are what those loyalties do, is, again, they reward you for being loyal. And I think that this is so important. So, in doing this, this is a strategy. And I think really what small business owners and leaders need to do is talk with someone like yourself and your team, because you're going to help them really understand what are some of the best ways to deliver value long term to their client base. So what is the best way for people to reach out to you to maybe set up a consultation so that you can see if it's a good fit and maybe give them some ideas on how they can improve the customer journey?
Sure. So I'm on LinkedIn, so they can always reach me at LinkedIn, Rob Tritt on LinkedIn. They can go to my website, profitpartnergroup.com. They can call me at 770-256-8216, and they can email rob@profitpartnergroup.com.
Beautiful. Well, Rob, thank you so much for being here and sharing these tidbits and strategies for us. You know, the message that I want all of you who are following to take away is I would really identify maybe what are 3 strategies that you can bring in, and they don't have to be complicated. A strategy to deliver better customer service. Pick up the phone and call them out of just sending emails. Maybe bring in a survey, know your people, find out about, what is important to your people. And I want you all to write this down and live by this every day. Money flows to value. When you are delivering value, the profits will follow. So thanks for staying tuned to this episode and this segment. Stay tuned because we're going to be right back and bring you more Be Productive.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company, the time you spend with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Be Productive. I am your host, Clara Capano, and today we are talking about something that not everybody likes to discuss, and that is our budgets. You know, as small business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs, we cannot achieve our long-term goals without making sure we are following a system of our finances, and therefore we have to pay attention to our budget. So to help us with the conversation and to change our mindset around our budgeting, I am bringing in my friend Ryan Kahn, and we are going to be talking all about building a budget to build your bottom line. So Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
You know, I think so many people shy away from talking about budgets. They think it's I think so many people think it's a negative thing. I personally love talking budgets. I think budgets are so powerful and they're very productive because it teaches you how to really invest in growing your business. So I'd love to get your thoughts as an expert in this area. What are some of the benefits that small business owners and entrepreneurs and freelancers have in creating and following a budget?
Well, I like the words you just used. Creating a budget is actually an investment in your own business. It's an investment in yourself. And everyone knows that the difficult but very needed word is accountability. And that's ultimately what a budget is for. There are tons of softwares out there that you can use. Some of them coincide with maybe your existing accounting software, and some of them may be a simple budget where you look at your financial statement and you earmark things over time. But your budget doesn't need to be short-sighted. What are we going to spend this month or this quarter? It needs to be this year, this 3 years, this 5 years. If you're looking at growing a business and you say, eventually I want to buy my own brick and mortar location, you can't decide that in the year that you're bursting at the seams. You have to decide that along the way and then budget to have savings go into that account, for example. I would say, again, along with the theme of accountability, probably the best thing you can do with budgeting is, of course, software, but other than software would be to have an accountability partner. Have a team of leaders, have somebody that's significant in your life that says, no, we can't spend that money because we agreed to a budget. No, we're not going to pull it out of that savings account because we have a budget. And even if you're a sole proprietor owner, you need to tag somebody that you trust to say, I need you to annoy me if I try to break this budget. I need you to get on to me. And then we have to make a decision. Even though you may be the person that runs the whole place and the face of the business, you must empower somebody to be your accountability partner to have a successful budget. I think that's something that is often overlooked when building budgets.
I think you are really, just saying some very powerful things. And I think so many of us, shy away from getting that accountability partner because it can be uncomfortable. But you're absolutely right. You need to give someone permission because we're here to run a business and we can't make decisions just based upon me. We have to base decisions based upon the organization. I work with people all day long in helping them to, get that vision together for their goals. But what role does a budget play in both helping you achieve your goal, but also in helping you stay on track? Because being productive, that means that we have to stay on track each and every day, and we don't want to get outside of our lane. So talk to me about the benefits of budgeting when it comes to achieving goals and, again, being able to stay focused and on task with what we're supposed to be doing.
A budget is a pinnacle tool for that. the ability for you to say, hey, I am on task. We call that measured growth when we're going through our programs. And that measured growth allows you to do two things. One, make sure you're still growing and pushing yourself to expand, increase bandwidth, increase market and productivity, but also allows you to, in some cases, dial down your growth. Sometimes you can grow too fast, and that's painful, and you end up crashing. So the budget does the same thing. It allows you, if you have percentages that need to be allocated in certain areas, you know that, well, this percentage is getting really high, so I need to increase the allocation to that other percentage to keep things even. That allows you for your most effective growth. And it sounds maybe like a lot of science and numbers to a lot of people, but budgets are much simpler than you think. You can even download templates online for corporate budgets and personal budgets. You can probably get them, like I said earlier, built into your software just by searching the settings or certain reports and forms. And then you fill that out with somebody, generally an advisor, that can tell you what's going to be needed, because ultimately you want a budget for what is your post-tax net worth as an individual, or you want a budget for what is your post-tax position as a company, depending on how the taxes go out. Then you know what your true net position is and how quickly you can grow, how quickly you can expand.
Absolutely. And I think, again, numbers can be so overwhelming for certain people. And, I think sitting down again with an expert like yourself, it's a skill set, learning how to read and analyze the numbers. And if you are somebody who doesn't consider yourself to be a numbers person, focus on your vision. Again, focus on your goals, because then learning how those numbers are going to manifest the goal can, again, change your perspective on it. Now, Ryan, you mentioned that there's software out there. You mentioned the idea of getting an accountability partner. What are some of the other tools that are accessible to entrepreneurs and small business owners that can really help them with their budgeting?
I think things that can help you with your budget is all kinds of automation. Get automation in your billing systems, get automation in your receipt and auto bill pay systems. So both AR and AP would be a great way to have automation. Those softwares are everywhere. I mean, you're probably using it as a point of sale system, depending on the industry that you're in. As long as you automate that, you can tie it into your bank accounts, you can tie it into your other accounting softwares, and that will give you much more real-time numbers, maybe in a worst-case scenario, month-by-month numbers, and then you can effectively diagnose your budget's health every single month or every single quarter, which that's what we help people do. We try to have at least quarterly meetings with people to see, is your budget on track? Are your goals on track? Have there been any major changes in your business or your industry? If so, we can adjust and help you grow. Sometimes there's significant tax law changes, and the person out there running their business isn't aware of them. I have to bring that to your attention, and guess what? It's time for a pivot if we want to reach our goals on time and keep our budget in alignment with our dreams.
Yeah. And I really respect the fact that you are encouraging and requiring your clients to meet with you on a quarterly basis, because you're absolutely right. The economy can change, the business can change, so many variables might pop up, and you need to be able to pivot. You don't want to wait a year and miss an opportunity. So I really hope people are hearing that. I just would love to ask your opinion on this. If there's somebody out there that is feeling a little overwhelmed, maybe they're feeling like they haven't done a good job with their budgeting. Maybe they're feeling a little insecure and a little vulnerable. How do you get your people started? What is a safe, easy first start for somebody to start working with an expert like you to make it easy for them?
Well, one, we always take our first meeting, our introductory meeting. There's no cost to anybody. We come in here, we bring you in, we just want to learn about you. So we do kind of a two-pronged thing, and the first time we ever meet with somebody is, one, we tell you about us and what we do and why we're different, but then I want to learn why you're in the industry or the business that you're in, and why you execute the way you execute, and then I also want to know what your dreams and goals are. So I would start anywhere with writing down your why and what your goals are. Then you can build a budget around that. And I think that's a difference that most people look at the numbers in the bank account and try to build a budget by moving puzzle pieces around, but that's the byproduct. The byproduct is how the puzzle pieces are going to be laid out. It's the vision and the goals, which ultimately need to be built around.
Love that. Yeah, I always say the vision comes first, the how will find a way. And your company organizational vision really is your compass for what you want to achieve. So I just think that's fantastic. Tell us a little bit more about your company and how people can reach out, because I'm sure there are people that are following this segment and are going to want to work with an expert like yourself.
Great, thank you. So Shelton & Associates CPA really works in the tax planning, the advisory, that trusted advisor relationship for getting your taxes, your efficiencies, your liabilities reduced, and everything in order. And CS Business Consulting, they're cooperative companies, they work together. That works on your workflow, your streamlining, your team building, your culture, your leadership abilities. And the best way probably to get a hold would be our phone number, 270-442-6688. You can get both companies at the same number. Just ask for which one you'd like to talk to. And then the website, csbizcon.com. That's csbizcon.com. Go there, and there's a funnel that will lead you to any of the strategies, any of the plans, or the ability to schedule a meeting with us and get an email chain going, and then ultimately a meeting face-to-face.
Wonderful. And Ryan, thank you so much for being here and making budgeting easy for us and simplifying it. And for those of you that are watching this segment, I want you to know budgeting is your friend. Creating a budget is not there to restrict you. A good budget is actually going to give you freedom in your business because it's going to put you in control of making your vision a reality. So stay tuned because we are going to be bringing you more Be Productive right after this break.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company, the time you spend with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
¿Tiene un carro viejo? Usted podría donarlo y cambiar una vida. 1 de cada 8 mujeres es diagnosticada con cáncer de mama. El United Breast Cancer Foundation necesita su ayuda. Al donar su carro viejo o camioneta vieja, bien sea que funcione o no, puede ayudar a mujeres, hombres y familias afectados por el cáncer de mama. Además, recibirá una deducción de impuestos por su donación caritativa. Llama ahora al número que ves en pantalla para que venga a recoger el vehículo gratis.
Are you ready to shake up the world of health with me? Welcome to Disruptive Health, where we are flipping the script on traditional wellness. I'm Dr. Denise Brown, and on this show, we are diving deep into the latest trends and breakthroughs in health and wellness. Whether you're curious about nutrition, exploring new therapies, or just want to live your best life, Disruptive Health is your guide. Don't miss Disruptive Health, coming soon to Now Media TV.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Welcome back to Be Productive. One of the questions I get asked most about when I am working with my clients and speaking is how do we get it all done? Because nobody is just doing one thing. We have our business. Many of us have families. We have the things that we like to do for our hobbies. We have all these different facets of our life. So how do we bring in specific tools and strategies to help us prioritize and manage everything with all these different assets going on in our world? So to help me with this conversation is my new best friend, Tahima Watson with Watson Immigration Law. So Tahima, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Clara. I am so honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
You know, you and I really speak the same language when we come into this balancing act of life. And I know that this is something that you have been very successful at, even though we know it's not always perfect. So talk to us a little bit, because as an attorney, as running your own business and law practice, being a professional mom, having a spouse, even building in time for your own personal life, how do you prioritize, especially because your job is all about deadlines?
Sure. I am so grateful that you've asked this question. I get this question so much. I live by my calendar. That's the biggest tool that I have that is used by my husband, my team. Nowadays, one of my daughters is using the calendar because the kids' calendars with their activities is filling up our time as well. So the calendar is probably one of my number one tools. And the calendar is actually used in a number of ways as well, not just for what my meeting is that day, but also my team will calendar times. They will block time for me to review cases. They'll attach documents. Those attachments become incredibly important. Otherwise, I would have to spend 10 minutes finding the documents. So those of you who use Office products, for example, or any other calendar method, figure out how to use all the other types of added tools that come with those. So the calendar really, truly is one of my foremost tools. And I have to share a funny story, Clara. There was once a social event that I wanted to go to, and I had put in the calendar 6 to 7. Just because, it was the easiest thing to do. I didn't put the end time. And my husband was expecting me home at 7, but it was a party. And I knew I was not going to be home by 7. And he probably didn't realize what that activity was. And I came home really late and he had to miss his event. And he said, it wasn't on the calendar. We are so, tied to our calendars for all the things that we need to do.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
I
don't know about you, but I color code. Do you color code in your calendar? I have color codes for my son, for my admin, for everything.
That's a really, really great point. I personally do not do that, but I know my entire team does color coding. But it's a really, really fabulous tool to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, it's important when we're talking about the calendar, it's not just about putting our work life in there, but also our personal lives, our hobbies, the things that we do for self-care. I put everything in my calendar from my downtime to my, operational time, because everything's an appointment. And I know that the things that get scheduled get done. So do you also encourage people to also time block for family time, date nights, self-care, all of those things?
Most of those things. I guess I'm not as good as putting a massage in there. If I did, I probably would get massages. But date night, my kids are still in school, so we have a lot of spring breaks and summer breaks and midwinter breaks. And before these school vacations happened, I didn't put those in the calendar. And in the early days, I didn't put them in the calendar. So I have had those days where, oh my gosh, I've got 2 children in the house, very noisy. This is pre-pandemic, and I had to conduct meetings through Zoom because I couldn't go to the office. Actually, at the time, it wasn't Zoom; it was Skype, actually.
Yeah.
Because Zoom became this product that we all use during the pandemic, but it wasn't used as much, at least for me, before. So yes, everything gets calendared by personal life. The other thing is that I'm often in client meetings away. I might be at a committee meeting at some other bar association event. I might be at a community event volunteering. All of those go in the calendar because my team and my family, they need to know where I am at any given moment so that they can text me and understand that, oh, I'm not going to be responding to that text message, or I'm not going to be responding to that email, or they just need to know where I am because they need to know. The other thing is the out of office message tool is really, really useful because I don't know about you, Clara. Do you use that?
I do. Mm-hmm.
And do you have any tips on how you use that? Because for me, I actually have found a way to make sure that people know that I'm not going to respond, not just for that 1 hour, 2 hours, but for the duration of the time that I won't be around. How do you?
Yeah, and I think again it comes back to really laying out expectations, and it might change based upon, my day. So I always let my clients know, even just verbally when I have my initial meetings with them, to, give me like a 3-hour window so that they know that, there is this expectation. But then, yeah, I might say on my out of office, I'm at a speaking engagement. I will return this within 24 hours or at the end of the business day. But I think setting those clear expectations is huge. And I want to build off this idea of technology and automation that we're talking about, because you mentioned the calendar, you mentioned the out of office, you mentioned things like Zoom and Skype. What are some other ways that you have been able to utilize technology and also automation? Because I think so many times we lose time, we lose our level of productivity because we get lost in not leveraging technology and automating systems.
Really great question, and I'm still working on it. I'm a work in progress, but we use Slack a lot. Slack is an amazing way that we can communicate within our teams, but Slack also has different widgets and applications you can add, and we use a lot of the notes for our to-do lists, who's doing what, when, how. Primarily, people give me things to do, so they get listed to me, and make sure you do that, and that's where it goes, and I will have to cross them off. Even like buying paper, for example, we print a lot of it. We cut a lot of trees. We're responsible for a lot of trees. But that's the way the system is. And so we use that. The team actually have written a lot of emails that go out to clients. We have a lot of letters that are actually already top templates. We'd use DocuSign so people can sign easily and complete forms. We have a database where the immigration forms get populated. There's just a lot of technology that gets stacked on top of another. Often people will hear the term tech stack. What is your tech stack? And, that's really what it means. How many different types of products are you using? And to be honest, as I said, I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect at all. And there are probably so many other products out there that I don't know about. But for the moment, these are working for us and they are essential for us to be effective.
Absolutely. And you hit on something saying that, we're all a work in progress. And part of the reason is because technology is moving so fast that once we learn something, a new system is out there. So how do you help to keep yourself updated with the latest, tools out there and technology out there?
Most professionals will have their own sort of membership associations. As a lawyer, there is the American Bar Association. As an immigration lawyer, there's the American Immigration Lawyers Association. And no matter which profession you're in, I am sure there is a membership association. And I strongly recommend that people become members of these associations because it's not just for the professional development, it's also practice management. You get a lot of tips on what the latest news is on that particular area of your industry, but also updates on what the latest products are for your particular industry. For us, for example, there are just so many different types of technology products coming out for case management. What is the right one for you? Is that the right one for you? So these membership associations give us a lot of information, but also being on social media, these organizations target you as part of, a potential client. So you get a lot of cold emails. It's really figuring out those types of information that come towards you, but also your peers. If you need to have a call service, for example, I had a very serious issue in how to manage a particular aspect of my business, and I asked my peers that I meet with regularly, for recommendations. So I think, you figure out which is the right one for you in finding out information.
Love that. Fantastic. Well, Tima, I could just talk with you all day long. I wish we had more time, but I know we're going to have many more segments where you can let us into your brain and share some of these amazing tips with us. Real quick, what is the best place for people to find you so that if they want to reach out and learn more about what you do professionally, they know where to find you?
Well, thank you so much again for having me, Clara. People can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's Tamina Watson, TAHMINA. The one-stop shop is my law firm website, which is www.watsonimmigrationlaw.com. And I have an author website, which is www.taminawatson.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. And for all of you watching, I really hope that you took a lot of notes. The idea, calendar. The things that get scheduled get done. So make sure you are putting your calendars together. Again, leverage technology. We don't want to lose that humanity behind business, but when you can leverage the technology and the automation, it frees you up so that you can get truly connected with your clients. And when you do all of these things, you're going to be not only unstoppable, but you're going to be productive too. Stay tuned because we'll be right back for more.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Are you drowning in a sea of medical records, spending countless hours in the documentation? Picture this, a cutting-edge AI-powered tool designed specifically for the healthcare industry that streamlines your workflow, reducing time and effort spent on tedious medical record research. Introducing DataDive, your lifesaver in medical record review. Say goodbye to manual data extraction and hello to efficiency. Our advanced artificial intelligence delves into vast medical databases, swiftly extracting relevant information so you can focus on what truly matters, patient care. Imagine having a virtual assistant at your fingertips, tirelessly working to compile comprehensive medical histories, treatment plans, and diagnostic reports. DataDive not only saves you time, but ensures accuracy and completeness in your documentation. DataDive adapts to your unique needs, learning from your preferences, constantly improving its performance. It's like having a dedicated research partner that evolves with you. The future of healthcare is here. Artificial intelligence meets medical expertise. Partner with DataDive and embrace a world where your valuable time is spent caring for patients, not drowning in paperwork. Your patients deserve it.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author.